U.S. Senator Eric Schmitt now says it is very possible the city of St. Louis may have to give back federal pandemic money if fraud or abuse is discovered in how the city used those funds. It is a question that was asked by Chief Investigator Lauren Traeger today. For over a week, she has been telling you about issues involving a St. Louis City building inspector and whether he was pocketing those public funds. Lauren joins us now with the latest.
The city of St. Louis now says 2 building inspectors are under investigation, though for unrelated issues. One we've been telling you about extensively. He oversaw a program using federal pandemic funds to fix up vacant properties in the city. Now, Senator Eric Schmitt says that should rightly be investigated.
This isn't chump change, Lauren. This is about $70 billion of taxpayer money, and it's the people's money.
Senator Eric Schmitt now has sent letters to Missouri associations of counties and municipalities warning them against the continued use of federal pandemic funds beyond this calendar year, saying what First Alert 4 Investigates has uncovered may be far from the only case of concern.
This is really troubling to have somebody that's in charge of the program potentially be diverting contracts to his own company and misusing those funds. That's very concerning.
First Alert 4 Investigates told you about 3 companies with ties to St. Louis City Inspector Adebanjo Papula. First Alert 4 Investigates has obtained an accounting sheet from the city's comptroller showing just this year alone, Farst Construction, Maxify Contractors, and Premier Finish Contractors have been paid millions in public dollars for work they reportedly did to fix up private and public-owned buildings in the city. Those companies have been tied to Papula, and those programs were meant to stabilize vacant properties for health and public safety. But some city property owners told us they seriously question the work being done, and we've uncovered the dollar amounts paid by the city to these questionable companies may be much higher, as the connections could go back for years. Papula has declined to comment and has since resigned.
I also am concerned with this rush here at the end of the year to spend billions of dollars. This won't be the only case, the one you're investigating. There's going to be more because they're trying to shovel the stuff out the door as fast as they can, and there's not a lot of, protocols and auditing being done to make sure that taxpayer dollars aren't being misused.
Mayor Tashara Jones has asked the FBI and state auditor to investigate the city's building division, saying the doors of City Hall will be open to them. But questions have also been raised about grant programs set to provide funds to small businesses and nonprofits on the city's north side using pandemic funds. Schmitt says various federal agencies should take deep dives into how the money was spent. And we asked, could there be a possibility that cities like St. Louis would have to pay back the money?
Yeah, potentially. It's really troubling. And I think that, unfortunately, we're going to see more of this, and there ought to be investigations, and some of those dollars definitely ought to be clawed back.
Again, a number of local and state leaders have asked for various investigations into the city's building division. A second city building inspector is on forced leave right now. The city's comptroller has said the stabilization programs using state and federal dollars appear to show signs of fraud and abuse. Certainly, it appears there will be a lot more to come to all of this, and we will keep following it. I'm Lauren Traeger. First Alert 4 Investigates.